Hey guys, just doing a little night drive. Just dropped off at UPS. To my buddy Carlos. Time for a new battery, or at least to check it out. So the hybrid, the battery on the hybrid here, the Camry 2014, it finally goes, hey, we're not working right. So what's great about the hybrid is that the car still works fine. So it's just running off a little 4-cylinder, and it just, I think with the battery I was getting like 32 miles a gallon, and without I'm getting like 24, which is not bad. So, but I still drive like it's a hybrid, so it's like it's always like I'm I guess grandfatherly with it. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere, so it always pisses people off the way that I drive, and I'm like, eh, whatever. But I wanted to talk about Recoil got in some professional audio, PA, pro audio, mids and tweeters, bullet tweeters that I know you guys like, or at least some of you guys like. I want to do sweeps on all of them. It's a 6.5-inch mid pair. If I remember right, Recoil is going to sell them for $50 a pair on the website. I'm got them for $45 a pair, shipped. And then what I'm going to do is, because we're reworking a lot of the wire kits that came in, I just have been adding a lot of stuff that I just have tons of, because I like these little touches. And so I'm adding in some gold terminals that you can crimp, and they just look nice. Not that the crimp or the brass or the gold or whatever makes a difference. It's just nice. So it's a nice way to say thank you, and from touching my genitals to your genitals, here's some jizz. And but the PA mids, let's see, PA tweeters, 2 different bullets, like a small bullet and then a big bullet, and let's see what else. What is it called, the 6x8. There's a square powered subwoofer in the Amazon store from Recoil. It's supposed to sound really good. Right now the pricing is on promo, because I think that's like my cost, like it's like $110, and I think they're supposed to sell for like $169, but they want to get good reviews, so I'll put a link to that, my little, what is it, association link or what, affiliate link, that's what it is. Please check those out. It's kind of weird. Somebody had asked me today, I think Craig had asked me to play the speakers, the Rose Gold speakers, and I don't like doing that, because the recording is only as good as my microphone on my phone, and then it's going through YouTube, which is compressed, and then it's whatever speakers you're using on the distant end. So it's not a great way to test out speakers. And I know they're good speakers because they've been through a lot of R&D, and typically they just again, when they're going through the process of picking a vendor, typically it's a whatever factory, they go, yeah, this is what we have, this is the frequency response on it, and Larry F or somebody important has already gone through and looked at it and said, okay, this is good. And then sometimes they'll send a sample and say it's mostly to verify cosmetics, not necessarily sound. And I know that sounds kind of weird to some people. They're like, you wouldn't even listen to the sound, because it's already there. It's like a gold standard. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need to sit there and listen to every, because number one, music is subjective. So what sounds good or bad to you may not sound good or bad to me. That's number one. Number two is the computer is a better listener as far as frequency response, and you can see if there's a like there needs to be a notch filter or some sort of peak or null that needs to be fixed or addressed or something like that, then that's something different. But typically, the speakers have already been tested, they've already been used and made, and sold under another brand, and then you just pick out your color and your cosmetics and your font and all that kind of stuff, and then that's why they're called designer brand. It's a product that's already made. They just make small changes from the designer. And that's the difference between being a designer and an engineer. You can be both, but typically a designer has more to do with aesthetics and marketing and things like that. So, but it's audio, so it's kind of a weird gig. But Larry If does a good job, and the other people at Edge, they do a good job too. Most of it is their research, and a lot of the products that they've been releasing lately are just they're hits in China, and they're selling at full retail in China. There's a lot of rich fucking people in China. There's a big middle class, and you got to remember that 300 million people to them is like a province. You know what I mean? So, and there's only like 350 whatever million people in all of America. So, but it's one of those American things where we just think that we're the most important thing on the planet, and it's not true. So. But that's what they're doing when they're launching these products, and sometimes I like to just get a peek out there, and sometimes it is risky, because they can order a fucking container full of something, and it's a dud, but that's because they don't do their testing and things like that. But they did the Rose Gold thing last year, and you guys responded well. I put the links on the from Amazon. They're probably not going to sell them on Amazon anymore because they think that I can sell them pretty well, and then they also want to support the website, so they're pushing for that, which is fine. But yeah, they're great speakers. Somebody was asking me about is the cost difference worth the Rose Gold versus the Echo, which is their entry level. And if you don't have room for 2 pair, like say up front, then yeah, it's a really good value. Like I said, it's on par with like a Infinity Kappa or something like that. One of the high end. It's not the esoteric type of, where shit's made out of alien blood or something like that. It's just some sort of weird thing. But it's just a nice, very like a Lexus, right? Lexus is not a exotic car, but it's a very nice car and it performs well. So there you go. It's like a Lexus. So for some people though, Lexus is, oh my god, it's super fancy. It's like, no, that's a Toyota. It's just got leather. So, oh shit, what else was I talking about? Oh, the 6x8, that's a powered subwoofer. PA mids. Oh, there's also a, God, I've been meaning to do it, but I keep selling them. It's a self-powered truck box subwoofer, and they're meant to compare to like what Rockford's doing with their P3s. I have yet to open one up and see what the driver is and all that kind of stuff, but basically it's a knockoff of what Rockford has been doing. Rockford has just been using the Prime series, I think the R1s or the R2s, in a little tiny enclosure with a Class D amp that runs at like a half an ohm or something like that, and it doesn't even need a heat sink because it's only doing like 200 or 300 watts or something like that. But yeah, that was Larry F's project, and you get a whole bunch of goodies with that. I think I'm doing those for 120 shipped. They're a little bit more, I think about $20 more on Amazon. I will put links in the description for those. But I do need to pull one apart just to get a look at it and see the build and things like that. I'm probably not gonna be impressed with everything. It's just gonna be like, it's good enough. So, and that, that's most things. Most things are like, does it work? Yes. Okay, it's good enough. The problem is when you get these people that want, perfection, whatever the fuck that means. So I had somebody, a lot of texts and emails today. So I gotta go to the Target. What do I gotta get? Oh, Tussin. So Sherry's not quite over the pneumonia yet, but yeah, perfection. just don't. Just don't. Somebody commented the other day, they're like, it was funny. Sometimes I'll get like this just out of the blue hater. And when I say hater, I'm talking about somebody that just basically shits on me for me being me. Which I'm like, okay. And I, so if they use a curse or something like that, I approve the thing. So I like free speech. I like you guys to know that I allow you to express yourself, and if you disagree with me, or if you don't like me, I'm okay with that. I don't care. But you said something about no wonder you're getting out of audio because you build shit, and I was like, oh well, you're welcome to your opinion. I think I provide a really great value. Especially I've been doing the quad stack Vato Extremes. Those are fucking rad, dude. That's like one of my favorite ones because it's so cheap to build, and I can offer it for $250 shipped, and it looks like a fucking monster. And I would love for somebody to just resell those for $600-700 each. One of the issues though is that they're used. Like the steel is not pretty. It's but on the front it looks new, right? That's not. When you open it up and look in the back, they're like, there's some scratches on the magnet, or there's, whatever, there's no boot or something like that. So, but I don't know. I don't really want to feed into that because that's all, is that the word neuroses? It's just people's OCD. So it was funny. I have a bang up on the fender because I was impatient and I fucked up the fender a little bit. And we took my sister-in-law Rachel to work the other day, and as I was getting out in the parking lot, there was a guy driving by, and he's like looking right at me. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, hey man, I can get that dent out of I can pull that bumper out for 180 or whatever. And I was like, I go, no, that's okay. And he was like, why? That's a really good price. And I go, I have OCD, and I keep it as a reminder to tell my OCD that I'm in fucking charge, fuck off, and I don't do it. And that's one of the reasons why my shop is messy. I actually want to clean all day long, but it doesn't pay, and there's the reward that you think is going to be there isn't there. So now if it's for somebody else, that's different. That's where I'll use my OCD to my advantage, and it, it's like what we used to call a GI party in the military. Where you clean it, whether they say with a toothbrush, but whatever, you just clean it really well and just make sure everything's as best as it can be. So, but again, I don't have that kind of time, and if somebody is getting demanding like that, I have the fuck you clout. I don't want to say money because it's not money, but I have the ability to pick and choose who I want to deal with. I don't have to take every dollar. And I'm glad I don't anymore, because it makes you like a woofer monkey or whatever, subwoofer whore or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And it sort of invites this type of predatory, creepy, used BMW hairpiece having kind of guy with a black Amex card, like those guys. And I'm like, no. This is something special. This is something unique. This is something nobody else on the planet is doing, and I'm doing this. And I do love it, and for me, music and the audio and everything like that it can be a religious thing. It's really great, but mostly, again, going through the process of all this stuff, from going from a consumer to where I'm at now, was for my own satisfaction. I wanted to know where the cheapest place to buy stuff was. I wanted to know how stuff was made. I wanted to know how it works. I wanted to see if I could design and engineer my own shit. And I just kept at it, and here I am. So I'm as good as anybody else. And if I want to do, retail looking type of stuff, you goddamn right, I'm going to charge retail. But I don't like charging retail because I know it's a ripoff. I want you guys to have value with the stuff that I sell you. So Where you can keep it for 6 months to a year and then still sell it for what you got it for. You can't do that with anything else. Anything else, it drops in value by half, and then that's when they spill blood in the water, and then they're like, wow, you need money right now, you filthy fucking whore, don't you? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, I'm not even gonna let you suck my dick, here's $10. I don't want anybody to get into that sort of, unless you're into that. But for the most part, I don't want anybody to get into that. So, but we have been talking lately to Rachel, my sister-in-law, mother of Everly, and it's been really good. I just want to share that with you guys. My wife Sherry has been really kind of I think she Rachel's in recovery, like she's still in a sober living facility and or house or whatever you want to call it, and she has roommates, and it sucks, but you have to learn to navigate that, and you have to learn to know how to negotiate, and she's working on her whatever the AA or whatever the steps are and stuff like that, but it takes time. You can't just tackle all of that all at once. It's too much, and that's what got you in the that's what got you in drugs or whatever whatever vice it is in the first place. Is you bite off more than you could chew, and then you think it has to be done, and you have to please everybody and all this other stuff, and that's just too much for humans. And so it was great though. We were in the car and we were driving, and she had shared something, Rachel had shared something, and I just sort of reminded her that things used to be good, and well, one of the I'll share it with you. One of the things she used to call me was a throbbing vagina whenever I would whine or complain and stuff like that. I would always complain as a I'm sort of making fun of myself, but Rachel always has sort of a rivalry with me in dominance over Sherry, her sister, which I think that's silly, but sometimes I play along because it's fun. And so anyways, Rachel calls me a throbbing vagina, and then I put my fingers together, and it's like this, but like both of them. I don't know if I can hold it. And then you press in, and it makes a throbbing vagina. So anyways, I got her to laugh out loud while I was driving the other day, and that helped me feel really good. And I was glad to kind of connect with her and let her know that I still love her, and we want the best for her, and we want the best for Everly. What was funny though is the thing that Sherry sort of not violated, but sort of stepped on Rachel's toes, was that we were asking about Everly, like, what's your plan to talk to us? We've been giving you rides to work, we've been interacting with you, that's a lot better than what we were getting before, which was like the cold shoulder and just being shut out. But do you have some sort of game plan? And the problem is that again, this is hearsay, I don't know for sure. Lauren is the Rachel's oldest daughter, who is taking care of Everly. Lauren seems to be so vindictive and so bitter and so grudge, mean and angry, that she said that she doesn't want me or Sherry to see Everly ever again. So again, I don't know that for sure. I'm hearing this secondhand, and it's just very it's concerning, because again, not for me selfish about wanting to see Everly. Of course I want to see Everly, but that's not why I want to see Everly. It's not for me. And what I realized this morning was all three of them, well, it's all four of them anyway. It's all three sisters, which is Sherry's the oldest, then there's Rachel, which is the middle child, and then Lana, which is the youngest child. But not just all three of them, but then also their dad and Lauren and the older girls. None of them understand what love is. That sounds, I know, and if they hear this, they're gonna go, fuck you, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you don't understand what love is. Back to my point was that Sherry, who had asked about, hey, can we see Everly, like what's going on, this and that. And Rachel got really upset and was like, we can't talk about the past. We don't want to, there is no future. There's only the now. And she was just really just got excited and sort of like, not in a good way, but like upset. And I had to coach Sherry and let her know that, there's certain things that you can't just take directly on there. But what the revealing thing that I thought was really important was that I realized that Rachel is so scared to lose access to Everly. Oh, go away. And Rachel is so scared to lose access to Everly that she doesn't want to do nothing to piss off Lauren. And, and we're concerned that this sort of battle that's going on between Lauren and Rachel over Everly is bleeding over into stuff, because Everly already believes, that when she goes and lives back with her mom, that her mom's not going to let her see Lauren, or maybe Lauren's putting that in her head. Again, I don't know. This is all secondhand information, so I don't know for sure. And Sherry brought it up. She goes, well, Everly's already conditioned that you guys take away people that she loves. And Rachel immediately was like, well, no, I get to see her twice a week. And Sherry was like, no, I'm talking about me and Patrick. Like, Rachel and her daughter Lauren are clueless about the attachment that Everly has to us. Clueless. They're only thinking of themselves. They're only thinking about, pride or what they think is best for Everly. Nobody has sat down and asked Everly what she needs or what she wants or what's best for her. So I'm going to go ahead and put a letter together this week. I'm doing it this week. I also got to, let me wrap this up because somebody is trying to get a hold of me and it's fucking annoying. I got to put together an LLC for a couple of reasons, and I'll step you guys through that on getting loans and things like that. But also to put in the paperwork, it's like a $450 fee for anything having to do with a child, and you want to get a judge's attention. But I'm like, the sale's been okay, and I'm like, I figured out how to borrow some more money, and so it makes it much easier to handle instead of draining on my personal credit cards or whatever it is. And so I'll step you guys through that as well. And I think these are really important to talk about. These it's not because it's not a custody issue, but just about learning how to negotiate and be reasonable and sensible and also strong and tough. Oh man, we finished Ozark last night too. It was fucking great. And one last thing, and I'll go. But I have had a lack of energy lately. Somebody had mentioned, they're like, you don't have any gunzo. More gunzo. I don't have a lot of that because I'm exhausted. I've been COVID-y for the last month, and like when Sherry is exhausted anyway because she has long-term COVID, and then like what happens is we'll eat breakfast and then we just feel like we need to go lay down, and then we'll lay down for like 2 or 3 hours and take a good nap. And it's like, I mean, it's great that I can do that, but it's not productive, and it's like super annoying. So but yeah, I've had all the COVID symptoms for Omicron, which is like aches and runny nose, and some of it was a couple weeks back was allergies, but that's all gone away, and I still feel like shit, and my lower back hurts, and I wake up with lower back pain and things like that. So it's been kind of sucking, but I got some stuff in the works. I'll talk to you more about it. I just wanted to kind of do a night cruise with you guys and tell you I love you, and that I love it when you guys let me know that these videos helped you personally. I mean, the audio stuff is the audio stuff. It's not that I don't give a shit about it. It's just that it's not as important as real life stuff. And I wish there was somebody like me out there talking about this stuff and sort of giving it my best advice and sharing those things with you. Because otherwise it doesn't get talked about. Nothing. You got to wait for fucking John Oliver to investigate it. And I today at lunch I watched 30 minutes about Subway sandwiches. So anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.